met Jose first at Union Square, and then from that meeting, then we actually started going on snowboard trips. I first met Michelle through New York, because we both worked there. Michelle was a designer and I was doing marketing and team managing. So we were good friends.
Jose, I first met Jose through a buddy of mine, Jeff Pang. We met each other through snowboarding. Michelle, I met peripherally, also through Jeff Pang, when she worked at New York. But the funny thing was, Jose and Michelle, they didn't know each other at that point.
Well, I've known Jose for probably 15, maybe 20 years. And Michelle, I met Michelle when she started working at New York.
I've known Jose for a long time. He used to work at a skate shop that was on 6th Avenue and like West 4th Street. It was called PSNY, Pro Sports New York. And I used to ride for that shop, and I remember Jose working there. Always looked out. He's basically been looking out since then,
I used to live with my good friend Jonathan in Brooklyn, and we threw a Cinco de Mayo party.
Michelle and I met at a Cinco de Mayo party at Jeff Pang's house. It was like, I wasn't even going to go to that thing.
So we threw a Cinco de Mayo party, and I guess those guys met there. And so Michelle's like, yeah, I met this guy, he's half Asian at your party, like, he's a skater. And I was like, I don't know who you're talking about. So then I was like, oh, okay, now I know who you're talking about. It's Jose.
Yes, I went, met her, and, meeting her really, if I wouldn't have met Michelle, I don't know if I would have done the shop the way I did the shop. I still probably would have done the shop. I just don't know how it would have turned out.
And Jose always talked about, like, doing a skate shop, having a skate shop. So, fast forward a few years, we've been dating for a while, we've still been together. I left New York, I went to work for Burton, and that was just like 2 years of hell. And finally I was just like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, when I met her, I guess I started thinking more about the shop, and then one day I woke up and I was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. The whole thing's been in the works for a while, doing the shop. I think I might have popped up with the idea in like 98. Dave Ortiz, he was interested in doing a shop.
Yeah. We were going to do something together. Before, I started DQM, I approached Jose to be partners with me in DQM, and we just kind of didn't do it. It wasn't the right time. It just didn't materialize into what it is.
And we did come up with a lot of names, but we used it because we felt that it maintained that that humbleness, and it just reminded us to really do what we set out to do, which is to pay tribute and to give back and to, in essence, pay homage. You know what I mean? So we do. How the shop would have turned out if it would have been, just the boys, I don't know. I think it probably wouldn't have lasted. We would have partied all of it away. But yeah, just having Michelle as more like the voice of reason. I'm pretty wild. Like I'll do some far out stuff, and she kind of keeps me grounded. Like, yeah, no, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, well, why don't we try this and that? No, hey, what are you crazy?
We were both ready, and we just, it was a really sort of impromptu decision based on like 5 years of conversation, and we just, one night, we're like, okay, we started looking for places, we got a place, and that was pretty much it.
I think the fact that she was involved, I already knew how to give the shop a brand's perspective, not just a retail entity, but also more like be a brand. But she was really kind of more that missing piece, in the puzzle.
Like I said, it was a lot of years of conversation, a lot of years of feeling like there was something missing in the New York skate scene, and just wanting to do something different, You know, Jose had a lot of background from like working at basically every skate shop in New York City in like the 90s. And I had a design background from like before I was at Zoo and then being there and then being at Burton. And I really, I don't know, we just want to bring something different to the table.
It wasn't like one of those things when I was a little kid, like I'm gonna do a skate shop when I grow up, but definitely like the skate shop being there for me when I grew up skating set like a standard as to like how skate shops are supposed to be.
I think we just wanted to build a different kind of scene that was more about just skating. And you know, there's like all different kinds of the lifestyle of skateboarding, and you know, everybody has like their party phase and their, you know, like what people typically like consider, you know, like a skater. I think people think of like you're drinking, you're smoking, you're doing bad shit, and like that's all part of it. That's all part of the culture. But I think the culture is changing and growing so much, and we just wanted to be a little bit more open to that and kind of invite everybody in.
You know, I guess it's their own way of paying homage, no pun intended, to the skate community and the snowboard community that Jose was, you know, a part of directly. A lot of people don't know that about Jose or Michelle, you know, but they're grassroots people in the action sports community, for that matter, whether it's, you know, has to do with outerwear or even from a retail aspect or from a core skateboarder or snowboarder's aspect, because Jose was, like I said, he's a grassroots guy that's been involved with skateboarding and snowboarding. That's how I met him, was through skateboarding and snowboarding.
I don't know, to me they're just people that have always been involved in the New York skate scene, and it really wasn't like, who's this person? Like, who are these people opening this store? It was like, oh yeah, they're opening a store, that's cool, they have roots, they have history, it should be cool.
They're like a mom and pop shop, which kind of doesn't really exist in New York anymore. That doesn't exist in New York City, you know, on a mom and pop level, that doesn't exist. It's either like I'm trying to open up a skateboard shop because skateboarding is cool and I want to make money off of it, or I want to open up a skateboard shop that's a boutique and I want to have swag all over the fucking hangers and shit like that, and I want to sell dope limited edition crap and that kind of shit.
I was totally stoked, you know, he was doing something in Brooklyn. He had a different, you know, approach. He wanted to make a cool skate shop that was a skate shop, like not trying to be a cool guy store. He wanted to make a real deal, you know, skate shop where skateboarders could go there and buy product and go skate, you know, not make it, you know, like my shop at the time was like a cool guy collector, sneaker collector kind of store. And it was, it was completely different from what I was doing. He was staying true to the roots and stuck with his guns and made, you know, a real deal skate shop, which there really wasn't any, you know, everything was primarily, you know, fashion stores in a sense, you know what I mean? Where people, you know, they weren't really using the stuff to skate, they were using it to like go out or, you know, get the newest SBs so they could resell them and try to make money. But, you know, he went the opposite direction and made a real deal skate shop. I thought that was really fucking awesome.
Like all around, it is a different kind of shop. It's because I think it's in a different kind of place and it has a different kind of people running it that are doing it their way, you know.
What we were trying to create and what we still continue to try to perpetuate is the idea that it doesn't really matter like who you are, what your experience is, how old you are. If you want to get on a board, like, we're going to get you on the right board. We're going to get you on what you feel comfortable with. If you need to learn how, we're going to teach you how. I think that we just kind of wanted to build a different community because there's so many different artists and different people that have an interest in skateboarding. They may not be like wanting to be a pro skater, but we just wanted to make it more, I guess, welcoming.
You can go wherever you want to go. I mean, there's loyalties. There's not. If you want to go to a shop that has what you need and has good selection, we have the selection and we got pretty much what you need and what you don't even know you need yet. You know what I mean? So You want to get skateboards, we got skateboards. You want bowl boards, we got bowl boards. You want cruisers, we got cruisers. You want skate shoes, we got skate shoes. Like, what do you want? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I guess that's a good way to describe it. You know, going back to how I see Homage, is I see Michelle and Jose as like the parents of all those kids that go to their store. You know, it's like, it is like a family shop, and they are the parents, and their customers are the kids. And what's tighter than that? There's no tighter family than that. You know, it's not like it's just whatever. It's like, these are all their kids, and they take care of their kids, and their kids in turn take care of them.
And so, yeah, I'm actually kind of responsible for the birth of Homage. It's me. Whether or not that's a good thing remains to be seen, but they've survived 5 years, so that's got to be pretty good.
I don't think core in the ways that we're used to it is the real reason why we started it, but I would say core like more like with heart, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we put some heart into this shit.
I don't know, when I think of Homage, I do think of a different type of skate shop. You know what I mean? I do think of these guys. I can relate to it so much because I feel like they're all about giving back to the skateboarding, giving back to the skateboard community in New York City.
Honestly, the energy that Jose and Michelle would bring, I would say, because it's not like you're at work. It's like, I would say it's like you're hanging out with family all day and getting paid for it. That's how I felt when I was at least working with them.
I guess they're really friendly. When you come inside, you know, they're not like dicks, like they're not cool guys. You come to Homage, like they just greet you, you know, like how people probably should.
So that's really separates them. And they were never really on some fashion trip, you know. A lot of skate shops out here are fashion boutiques, you know, and people don't do, you know, they're just not doing it right. And these guys are doing it right.
You'd be hard pressed to find a skateboard shop where the owners actually ride a skateboard, or maybe even snowboard, or even know what it takes to fucking make a t-shirt or a piece of clothing for that matter.
I think they're gonna do really good. They've been doing so good for these past few years that they've been around for the Brooklyn community, not only for Brooklyn but like Queens, because you know I'm not even from Brooklyn, but I'm proud to represent like something from like Brooklyn, you know, being part of the shop and stuff. You know?
I see those guys as like keepers of the scene in Brooklyn.
A lot has gone down in 5 years, definitely, you know, I mean, you can tell like even from the beginning, before we opened up the shop, we did an event in Thomas Green Park, and that was like, we were doing build out for the shop, and they asked us if we wanted to do something, and so we actually made the event. The event wasn't really much of an event without us. It was just like, you know, an idea of let's do something. So when we got involved, it was like, all right, this is what we're doing. We're doing a skate contest, you know?
That was the first event you guys ever did.
And that was the first one we did. And shit, I don't even remember what date that was, but I know that was before we opened the shop. So, you know, that's always been there, you know? It's like, it like courses through our veins. Like, we just want to do stuff.
Like that first year we were in business, we did like a contest every week. I don't know how we did that. Like, I seriously have no idea. It was like me and Jose and, you know, maybe one or two other people. And maybe it was just a game of skate. Maybe it was hosting like the game of skate qualifiers. We like built floors for that event. Like, I don't know how we had the energy or the time or the staff, like, at this point to do all of that. But I don't want to forget that part of it.
The stuff they did at Thomas Green Park is amazing. You know, it's just, they kind of took it over and, you know, had the stuff put there, built it or whatever, and they made their scene. That's the thing about Homage. Like, there were people that were skating in that area, and I remember we used to skate over there a lot, but they sort of, you know, cultivated their scene, you know, like any good shop does.
And then we did, the first Bastille Day before we opened the entire shop. We opened half of the shop. And then we were still building out the other half, and so we got invited to do that event also. So we were like, all right, sure, we'll do it. Let's build some ramps in the midst of building, you know, display units and counters and all that. But it's good because we love that. So do a shop for the sake of doing a shop? Why? Like, to sell product? That's not what we're doing a shop for. You know what I mean? Like, this is more a platform for doing other things that are really important.
We did one of those build-a-ramp workshops we took all this like dirty old wood we found in the streets, and like we taught the kids how to make a kicker, and then we took it to the park and they got to skate it.
I just thought it was different. Like, I thought that like they were bringing something different, at least because like there's not a lot of shops that go and, you know, do contests like for kids and like, you know, and for the community, and like try to rebuild stuff and like try to put skate elements inside of parks. Like, I never heard of any other shop doing anything like that.
Like sick, like just going to a spot and just having like a contest, like without like permits, you know, a game of skates, manual contest at 32.
And the good thing about Homage is that they also support the skate scene too by doing events and stuff like that, and having the training facility. So it's not just they're in it for the money, they're giving back to the skate community, which is how skate shops survive.
Honestly, the thing that stands out to me the most in dealing with Homage was the event we did with them last year, Brooklyn Bangers. It was really this like truly local vibe contest we did at Thomas Green. And I remember when I called up Michelle and Jose and I said, hey, I want to do this event with you guys. Like right off the bat, they were so supportive. They're like, yeah, there was like no hassle. They're like, we'll set everything up. You get the sponsors, you get the money for the prize money, whatever. And it was just, you know, super quick to set up, super legit. And it ended up being an awesome local contest that I think someone went home with like 3 Gs at.
Yeah, I mean, Michelle is like more a designer, and I'm a builder, so it's like, you know, it's easy to design an event and build all the obstacles that are gonna go in the event between the two of us. We just bang it out real easy.
Some of the events that stand out that are pretty awesome is the stuff that they do on Smith Street during Bastille Day.
I think it was Bastille Day, and I was there, and it was pretty damn awesome. They had a high ollie contest.
Our first Bastille Day contest, it was mid-July of '07, so we'd been open like 3 weeks. They asked us maybe the first week we were open to be involved. We had no idea what we were getting into. Like, we built a few things and we just like winged it, and we did a little contest, but not so little because, you know, there's all these people walking up and down the street. They're all drinking. They're there to watch pétanque, which like nobody really cares about that unless they're on one of the teams. People are all just there because you get to drink, and it's in the middle of the street and nobody bothers you, and there's like live bands and lots of music. And so it was amazing, and it was such an awesome way for us to introduce ourselves to the neighborhood.
It's pretty crazy because like when they built the ramp over on the like one end of the kind of the sectioned off area, there was a big bank ramp, and the boards could fly over or whatever, and then it goes right into like street or bocce bowling or whatever it's called. Like, there's probably more attendees at that event than I've seen at any other skate event because it's just so much foot traffic. But they stopped and they were actually engaged in what was going on and focused on skateboarding. Whether or not they were there to watch a skate contest, they were actually, they were captivated.
Yeah, that was huge. If the block gets if you can get the block blocked off in Brooklyn and make people congregate for the sake of skateboarding, and you can pass that through the community board or whatever, like that's huge. And that speaks volumes to the neighborhood. Like, yeah, we're grass fucking roots and we're doing it. And bring your fucking kids and come skateboard. And even if you don't skateboard, come see what's going on. We're doing something positive for the community. Doing events is really important because it makes the community outside of the skateboard community, it makes the community around the shop know that these people aren't just in it for the money. You know, they want to be part of the neighborhood.
My first encounter with Homage was actually a contest they had Bastille Day, and I ended up actually like winning the game of skate that year, and that's when I found out about Homage, and they blessed me with a whole setup. That the only thing I actually still own from that is actually the cruiser wheels that they gave me. They're these Hubba cruiser wheels that I still own, and ever since then, it's just family.
I'm not surprised that they've made it this far, not at all, because Jose has, he's very strong in his conviction when he wants to put his mind to something, and he has a good work ethic. Likewise for Michelle, that's obvious.
People see their involvement, their investment, what they're doing to help, build the community, and not just in Brooklyn, in New York. They're supporting a lot of kids and a lot of local brands in New York as well. So I think that's what sets them apart. They're, just all around more involved.
Jose and Michelle are really cool. Like, they always have like barbecues and stuff, like every now and then, and like they just give out like free food to like anyone who shows up. I mean, they always doing like a lot of nice stuff. Like, they have their skate school thing.
There's so many good skaters in that area now, and like all around Brooklyn in general. Like the younger kids are coming up, and it's pretty cool. I mean, they've provided not only like a place for them to come and chill and like hang out, watch skate videos, but they got the Gowanus like skate park going on there. The little setup over there. They got their own indoor skate park too, so it's cool. It's really cool they do that.
Sometimes it's nice to just like win a board and a set of wheels, and it doesn't always have to be these giant contests. And I think, like I said, that's something that in the beginning we always did. Like every week we did a contest. So we're sort of trying to get back into that mode and into that spirit, and just do more smaller local contests. And then, if the big Bastille Days come up and other things like that, it's great to do those too. But just to, keep the kids out there, keep them skating, and, keep them having fun. So it's we'll see what happens.
Well, for like Homage starting out in this tiny little place, and now so it's 5 years later, and they're evolving and growing, and now they've moved into this beautiful new location. It kind of shows that they're evolving and they're growing.
He's doing something a little more core than the rest of the people in New York, which is kind of cool. Like there's very few shops in New York that are actually like core shops that have lasted through like the tough times, and Jose and Michelle are definitely pushing the envelope with maintaining that core value in New York City.
If anything, I thought it was just going to be another skate shop that opened and closed, just like every other fucking skate shop in New York City.
My first thoughts were like, awesome, there's another skate shop in Brooklyn besides KCDC in a different area. And to me, it was just like, in that area, you'd always see a lot of little kids skating, so you knew it would be something that would be supported and something that would have that you thought would have a chance of, being able to survive.
They moved up from having a little shop to getting a warehouse to getting a bigger shop. So over time you can see like the progression that they're making, like money's hard, especially these days. And to be like having a warehouse and having a new shop that's, more broad and like fucking like, dude, it's sick, dude. Like, come on.
They definitely, like after the first time I went in there when they were open, I was like, wow, you guys are really going to do this.
We don't just stop at your typical definition of a skate shop. You know what I mean? Like, we cover so many different areas and bases. Like, we're pretty well-rounded as business entrepreneurs, if you want to call it. We don't just run shop. Like, we're also designers, so we make things. We build things, we assemble things, we sell things, we do things.
I'm psyched on the move they did into that bigger space. It's kind of like huge. Oh, the other thing that I forgot to say is their TF. To me, that's that's all part of them giving back to the scene and doing stuff. Like, that TF they have is amazing, to have a private indoor spot.
Well, I mean, they're also like the first shop in New York to have a skate park, like an indoor facility. And, I was fortunate enough to like work with them in kind of helping them build that place, they're just, I guess, raising the bar when it comes to, being a skate shop in New York. You know, we don't have many resources here, as like, I guess, in comparison to other shops outside of New York or, you know, in different parts of the country.
They never take a day off, and but because of that, they have great results, like having the training facility, like providing a place for their team to skate, as well as like doing after-school programs and skate camps and stuff like that. And now with the new space, it's just a constant evolution.
This wasn't really done this way, man. You know, like skate shops don't have like TFs. I don't know of a skate shop that has a TF, except for us, of course. Maybe something outside of New York because there's, you know, more space, but I don't know anyone who's doing it like we're doing it. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It really doesn't matter to me. All I know is that we're doing something that we believe in, and there's definitely staying power. You know what I mean? Like we're giving the little shorties some structure and some support, so when they grow up, maybe they can give a little bit back too. You know what I mean?
It's been cool to like see Homage grow, and to see how they're kind of doing whatever it takes to kind of maintain that core essence that New York has kind of been missing, you know?
Well, I think that they're a purist type of skate shop. And I really, really, really like the fact that they have an instructional school, and they're getting to the kids, where it's very important to keep skateboarding alive, and the only way to keep it alive is to get to the new generation.
And another thing I enjoyed from them is when we used to actually go to schools and go and teach the kids in the schools who know nothing about skateboarding. Like, listen, like, you know, you don't have to go home and play video games at the end of the day of school. You can actually go home, pick your skateboard up, and go out and skate. Lose some weight. Like,
That is, I don't know, I feel like they took all the bits of the best things that people have done in the past. Like we had that Mount Weather a couple years, there's the Autumn Bowl. They just like did their own thing. Hey, we're gonna have an indoor park. I know they do a lot of lessons and stuff like that. That's amazing. You know, it's so unique. It's one of a kind.
Like that happiness that you see from those kids, like that's so pure. Like when I go to after school program and, you know, you see a kid like go down like a little 1 foot, you know, wedge, and they're like psyched because it's the first time they made it down, and it's like, it's really easy for all of us to forget that feeling.
So that's what we're doing. We're giving back, so people got to give back, you know?
There's only a handful of shops in New York City right now that are like, in my opinion, real skate shops that support the skateboarding community in New York, and Homage is definitely one of them.
You know, otherwise, what keeps the skater skating? Like, you know, if you can't pay the bills anymore, like, why do you skate? You skate because you're doing it for fun, not because it's work anymore. You know, so all the fun stuff that we do it because we love it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not because it pays the bill.
I just want to be able to continue to do that stuff because I think that I don't know, we need to like take some time away from technology, and like if we can do that through the ramps, through the stuff with the kids, through, you know, even just hosting skate nights, I don't know, it like brings a different kind of community together. And I to me, that's like, you know, it's more important than making a little bit more money. If we can make enough, keep the lights on, keep things going, I'd rather continue to grow those kind of things that we do.
So I don't know, I see it as a positive thing, and I just see it just growing and getting better and supporting itself and giving back to skateboarding as they always have.
So they're definitely they're definitely raising the bar when it comes to being a skate shop. They don't have to necessarily have an indoor facility where they can like educate kids and also, you know, entertain them and teach them how to skate and all that stuff. It's just like they're going far beyond their capacity as a shop and expanding to a point where I guess sky's the limit. You know, they're reaching they're stepping outside of the New York box.
I really do think that sky's the limit for these dudes, and like there's no telling what they can do in the next 10 years. Like it's been 5 years, you know, so another 5 years is gonna be like that, man. Like
a lot of shops have closed down, but they survived, you know, and they did it, and I think they'll be open for another 20 years. You know, they're doing it right. They're reaching out to the kids,
and I look forward to seeing them for another 15, 20 years, and hopefully they can do bigger and better and move forward.
It's great to see that they're actually moving forward.
We just kind of go with the punches, roll with the punches, and we come back around with an uppercut. So as most businesses are shrinking and laying people off, you know, we expanded. So it's like, what are these guys doing? How are they doing it? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you like to know? But
you know, it can definitely survive and thrive. So it's despite all the, like, I was worried for them at first. Now I'm like, oh, they got this. It's fine. They're gonna succeed.